Hello, I'm Angela.
And I'm Sage.
And this is TrailMixed podcast episode 11.
11.
Yeah. So.
We didn't have a podcast last week. We're back this week. We just didn't have anything to talk about. Mm-hmm. We just didn't want to force the episode, make it seem just forced and just not natural. Mm-hmm. Just an outlet for us to express ourselves and share things. So we didn't want to put out something that we weren't happy with.
Yeah, especially with everything going on, we didn't want to, I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Well, my idea for this episode is just to have an open conversation about race. Mm-hmm. So, it's no secret, I am a black woman and you are a white male. That's something we deal with every single day.
Yeah.
It's something that interjects in our relationship no matter if we wanted to or not. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So, where do we begin?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay, so I am the first black person you've ever dated.
Yeah, you're the first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what was your experience like with black people before you met me?
So I lived in Vegas from the time I was age 3 to 8. Mm-hmm. My next door neighbors was a black family. The one kid's name was Clay, and then he had a younger brother, and I hung out with them here and there. I remember I had a basketball hoop in the street, and they would always play on it, and I'd never go play with them because I wasn't athletic or anything, and they were like all like good, and I never went and played with them. But like we would hang out sometimes, and my mom told me they would always jump the fence when we weren't home and swim in our pool because it was just like a 6-foot brick wall in between.
At least your pool was getting usage, right?
I used it too, but when we weren't home, and then in Hawaii. There wasn't many black people. I think we had two separate two separate siblings of black kids in our school. One were in high school and two of them were in elementary school. And the two in elementary school were my ex's nieces or my ex's nephews. So for the year or two I was with her, I hung out with them and their dad, and it is what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I moved up here 2.5 years ago now, just about.
Yeah.
Just over 2 years. And pretty much started dating you right away.
And my family's blackity black.
Yes, I'm the only white person at all the family parties and get together, except for one other person, but
it's my cousin. Well, two of my cousins are married too. Well, one has a white girlfriend, the other one has a white wife. And I'm not even sure.
Which one have I seen, the wife or the girlfriend?
The girlfriend. And the wife is his older brother. His older brother's wife.
Oh, okay.
She's white.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my family is very black.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you feel uncomfortable when we have like family get together, seeing that you didn't really have a background with black folks, really? Like, does my family make you feel uncomfortable?
No, at first it took some getting used to, because unfortunately, and it's I don't know, sad to say, but it sucks that like the only thing I knew about black culture was from TV. Yeah. And from white people putting it on TV. Mm-hmm. So it's like...
You have like two skewed perceptions of what it means to be black, essentially. One in pop culture and then the other one portrayed in television. Which is manifested by whites.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And then it's like when things link up between what you guys are actually doing versus what I've seen, it's I don't know, it's weird. Like when when I come over for dinner, it's baked mac and cheese and stuffing and cornbread and a cast iron skillet. Like when you see stuff like that, something in my white ass head clicks. Like, oh, that's stereotypical. I don't want to use that word, but it's just culture. You know what I mean? I don't know, and it hurts to say these things because it's like ingrained in my head. It's like it's part of the problem. You know what I mean? That, and it's just how things were portrayed on TV. A lot of my interactions with, even in school, like with other students, no matter what race, it was all from what I got from TV. Being an only child, like I watch TV, so it's like interactions with the bullies or the cute girls or the jocks, like it's all from what I learned from TV. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's disheartening to say that, and I know I'm not the only white kid or non-minority kid that thinks that, and it's a huge part of the problem.
Yeah.
But being around your family, it's not awkward, or I definitely feel like the outcast in a sense, but that's just because I am. You know what I mean? Like it is, but it's like I feel welcomed. I feel like part of the family.
Yeah.
If I'm not part, don't tell me. I feel like it.
No, you are. You are. My cousins be like, I'll be like, oh, can I bring Sage? They're like, he a part of the fam.
Yeah.
Bring him.
And it's fun. It's
funny.
Yeah, I like it. Like, it's not weird or awkward. I don't know.
Yeah. But your perspective, I feel, is a little bit different just because in Hawaii there's a lot of minorities.
Yeah. The
minority is the majority.
Yeah,
there.
so it's like all the minorities are the majority. Like, the people that get teased or the ones that are talked about in a negative way are like, and I'm not trying to step on people's nationalities or whatever, but like Micronesians are looked down upon, you know.
There's racism within racism, but that's just...
But it's all minorities.
That's how it is.
It's minorities being prejudiced to other minorities. Mm-hmm. And then being white, it's like, you're not... And it's not if you're white you're not liked, it's if you have that white mainland typical attitude. Like, there was a shirt that was going around that it said, fuck the Captain Cook type. And if you don't know, Captain Cook was a white conqueror, I guess, so to say, that went to Hawaii and just colonized it pretty much. And, you know, and you walk around seeing people like that and then them looking at you, and it's like, I look at myself like ashamed, like that people look at other people because of what our ancestors did. You know what I mean? But with the things going on right now, it's not even our ancestors. It's our grandparents. It's our parents. It's our uncles. It's our relatives. You know what I mean? It's not way back then. It's now. It's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's...
Because people make the argument that racism was so long ago.
It was only like 3 peoples ago. Yeah,
racism. Segregation was so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, how could you... Why don't you just get over it? And it's like, you have to think. My mom was a part of the first integrated group of students in Las Vegas, essentially. She was bused to an all-white school where kids threw rocks at them and didn't want them to get off of the school bus because of the color of their skin. Riots were held at the schools where kids were beating the crap out of each other. Black kids they didn't have a choice. They were told to get on the bus and go to this integrated school. Like, they make it seem like it was so long ago.
That was less than 60 years ago.
Exactly. And it's sick.
It's
like the same fights that they were fighting, we're still fighting today. Yeah.
And it hurts as like a white person that does have that white privilege, but I'm not. And it just hurts because it's like when, like, especially with this last week with everything going on, it's like you'll bring something up or something will pop up on the TV and you'll say something, and I just don't want to say anything, like, because there's nothing to say. It's like, what am I going to say that makes it better? What am I going to do that makes me not a part of the problem? Yeah. Not a part of the problem, but like, it's just there's nothing to say.
To me. Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like when you say something like, I don't know, when you say something about the problem, I'm like, you're right. Like, what do I say? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it hurts.
Well, a large part of it is recognizing that there's a problem.
There's been a problem. Like,
but there is people still that pretend like it doesn't exist.
Of course. And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see. And now, being with you and wanting a future with you, like, it's hitting home differently. because now if we have kids, our kids are going to be black. And they're going to be subject to the same thing. Unless something drastic changes, they're going to be subject to the same things that are going on now.
Yeah.
And that it hits different.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say that that's when it hits different for me. When it hits home, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like that's alone problematic. Like, people should see humans as humans.
Yeah. And
it shouldn't have to take it happening to your children or your brother or your sister for it to be an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, I knew it was a problem. I knew it's been a problem. That just the systemic racism part of it, the cops versus blacks and minorities, like, I knew that was a problem, but now it just hits different, I guess to say. You know what I mean? Like, I've been against it. I've been on that side just because I grew up with minorities. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on that side of fuck the white man. And in the sense of not just the white man, but like the old white thinking people in power that are creating these laws and keeping these laws in place and not changing things. Like, but now that, you know, I could have kids that are half black, like, it just it hits a lot different. I don't know. And I feel like every time, I told her this week, like, I feel like any time I say something or a white person says something, like, for me it's like, I don't want to say it doesn't feel genuine, because I mean, I feel like I'm genuine in feeling like this, but it's just like, you know, like, oh, it's a bad problem, but you've never experienced a problem. You don't know. You just heard it's a problem. You see it's a problem. You don't feel that it's a problem. And feeling is the main thing about it. Yeah. I mean, like,
feeling starts activism.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of things with this whole thing going on. It's just how people of color wake up in the morning. Like, oh, am I going to be safe today? Am I going to get harassed today? Am I going to get... And not even, like, on the scale of cops or things like that, but, like, microaggressions. And I've only learned those more... Like, I honestly didn't know the true definition of a microaggression before I met you. Yeah. I didn't know it was a racial thing that you say without knowing, like... And, like, I didn't know it was as small as, like, say I was going to my mom's house. She hasn't said this, but I'm just saying, like... We're going over and she's like, oh, should we make collard greens? Like, something like that. And just learning that it's like, that's everywhere. It's TV, music, movies, everyday life. And it's sad that it's still going on. Absolutely. Like, that's just like saying, that's like your mom saying, oh, Sage is coming over? Should I not season the chicken? Like...
To think, right?
And as stupid as that sounds, it's like...
That's what it is.
It's, yeah, and it sucks. Like, and that's part of the reason I probably felt awkward in the beginning, because it's like, your whole family's just looking at me like, oh, here's a white kid. You know what I mean? Like, and just having what white people do and have been doing on a day-to-day basis on my face. You know what I mean? And it's sad that that's a thing. So
I don't know, but I don't know, for you to feel, well, I'm not going to tell you how you should feel, but just that moment to think that you thought, like, oh, I'm going to come into this black family and they're going to see me this way. That's how we feel every day.
I know. And
like, I can go somewhere, like, I went to, the chiropractor I used to go to is in a really white neighborhood, and next door to it is a Smith's. So I would go into that Smith's, like, every so often after I go to the chiropractor, and every single time I go in there, I'm like, oh, because I noticed the people working there, a few of them will be people of color. Everybody shops there are white, like, you know. So I'll go in and I'm a sore thumb. Someone was like, oh my God, I can't turn this way. They might think that I'm being sneaky. Like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want them to think that I'm trying to steal. Like, if something pops off, like, it's literally me against everybody else's word in the store, you know? And the fact that you have to feel that is, and it's completely out of your control just because of the way you look or the way that you may be portrayed is awful.
Yeah. And like I said, like, I felt that for, 10 10 minutes, 20 minutes at your family's house. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't imagine feeling that 24/7, not being able to not feel that.
Yeah.
Unless you're probably at home with your family, where it's...
Or, you're going somewhere that's majority minority or majority black.
Like, I probably couldn't deal with that in day-to-day life, you know what I mean? And, I mean, and that just goes to show how strong minorities are and people of color. Mm-hmm. You know, not only just dealing with that every day. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, waking up thinking that. Waking up... Yeah. I don't know. It's just... I couldn't imagine. I'll never imagine. And that's part of the problem. Yeah. Is that non-people of color will never know what that feels like.
Mm. And because they'll never know what it feels like, they think that it doesn't exist.
And that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. That's a part of the systemic issue, where it's designed so that only these people feel it. We can talk amongst ourselves and know that's how we feel, but how do we express that to everyone else
that has never felt it?
To make them understand that it's happening? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like we said, like when we have children, a lot of the reason why like the police brutality thing really, really gets to me. It's like, it's one thing if it happens to me. It's another thing if we have sons or just black children in general. Inevitably, they will be black. They're going to look at you, look at our kids will be deemed black. Like, that's something that we can't change. Yeah. They'll never be seen as white.
Light skin is still black.
They're still black. So we're going to have children, and like the thought of my kid being just... You know, beaten in the street by a police officer. By just something that they thought they did.
Or assumed that they did.
Or assumed that they did.
Yeah.
Guts me.
And I think back, my main interaction with a cop when I got detained, technically arrested, when I got my DUI, you know, like... It was cordial, even though I was getting arrested. You know what I mean? Like, they took me out of the car. I did the whole sobriety test. Mm-hmm. They got in my car, moved my car off the highway. They didn't search my car because I had weed in there. They didn't search my car. If they did, it would have been worse. But they just moved it off. You know, they took me things. They were talking with me the whole time. And then I see these interactions, and it's nothing even similar. It's like I was in two different countries when I had mine versus when other people have theirs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it just, as a person that's never experienced that, it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah. And it's just these unspoken prejudice. What do you call it? There's a specific word for it. The word bias, isn't it? Unconscious bias. Mm-hmm. That is ingrained into our establishment. You know, these are systemic issues that are not going to change overnight. And then it's hard to like, what can we do? You know, I don't know.
Because I mean, you think it's just the old people that are thinking like this, or the people in the South or in white areas. But then you see people like Drew Brees making a comment like he did about. Asking if players were going to kneel next year, how would he feel? And he just says it's disrespecting the flag in the country. The dude's 38 and he's around. He's in New Orleans. You know, a huge amount of percentage of his team is African American, and it's like, and he still doesn't get it. You know what I mean? And he's got kids, so they probably think the same way. Yeah. And that's the next gen. That's younger than us is gonna think like him.
Exactly. Like, they perpetuate these same ideas without understanding the outside perspective.
Yeah.
Why are people taking to the streets? It's because someone died. Unjustly.
They were murdered.
He was murdered.
He didn't die.
He was murdered in plain daylight, and the only reason why they were detained was because it was video recorded and everyone saw that man lose his life. And
the people that killed Breonna Taylor aren't in jail yet, but you know who's in jail? her boyfriend that killed a cop or shot a cop. I don't know exactly how. But, like, why is he going for protecting his house and his girlfriend? But the cops that broke in unidentified
and shot her dead
in her bed
asleep
are just still working or on paid
free.
leave. Like, that's stupid. Like, I've seen people get fired from normal jobs for a lot less. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like...
It's this unchecked power.
Yeah. And people want to say there's good cops along with the bad cops, but...
It's hard to make that argument because you would think that the good cops would step in and stop the bad ones.
Yeah, it's like if you had a good pilot and a bad pilot flying a plane and the bad pilot was about to crash, if they were cops, the good pilot would just be like, we're going to crash. I mean, I got to protect him. I can't call him out and just let it crash. But if he was truly a good pilot, he would take over and land it safely. Mm-hmm. But that's not what cops are doing. They're seeing shit and it's like... just letting it go. Like, I knew cops that...
There were 3 other cops.
There.
With George Floyd that could have stopped him.
And you can't see it in the main video that circulated, but the other 2 are on his legs and torso.
Yeah.
And then there's a minority cop standing there blocking everyone, telling them to back up.
And he was calm. The whole time.
It's like, I know someone...
He was calm, and he still lost his life.
Yeah.
There's nothing more he could have done.
And they're telling him to calm down and this and that. He's like, what do you mean? I can't... You're literally on every part of my body. I can't
He didn't resist. There's nothing more that man could have done.
It's sick. And then you hear him calling for his mom and stuff. Like...
It's just
ridiculous. Sick. Is quitting enough?
Yeah.
That's like working somewhere and being like, I don't like it. What they're doing is wrong and borderline illegal. I'm just going to quit. That's still being quiet. It's not bringing light to the problem. It's not fixing it. It's just, in a sense, running away from it. I'm not trying to shame that person, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's not fixing anything. Mm-hmm. The problem is still silenced. And silence just hurts it and keeps it going on for longer.
Yeah, it perpetuates the issue.
Honestly, we need to just fire every cop in America and rehire. Because if, like, becoming a cop is too easy. Like, the psychological training alone should be a year long. Mm-hmm. Learning laws should be a year long. You know how many videos there are online of people calling out cops for not knowing the law when cops tried to force their power on people? Like, it's just sick. Like, the fact of giving...
There should be more barriers to entry.
Yeah, the thing of giving unchecked power to any human being over another human being is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we need a law enforcement to keep people in check, but not when those people aren't in check either. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, I don't know.
That's a lot. So, how do you think, like, what do you think would be a good way to, like, advance in this situation?
I think I should be asking you that because the last time a big change happened was after MLK died and they passed the law. Mm-hmm. But it's like they wrote the piece of paper and then hid it. And what changed from that?
Well, I'm going to tell you what to do.
What? Tell me.
You need to vote.
I do.
Yeah. We need to vote and put people in power who can make the difference. The president just says yes or no.
I heard
we need to vote for our commissioners. That happens every 2 years. Judges, they make the big decisions.
Attorney generals.
Yes.
Yeah, someone was telling me it's not the president. I mean, I've known the president's just a figurehead, but I mean, it's lower local government that is actually the help. Is actually the step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. I feel like now our voices are being heard. Now we need to put it in action. Vote for the people who will actually work in our favor. Work for the people as the system was quote unquote designed to do. I don't have very much faith in the system as it was designed. It needs to change and it's out of date. But we need to vote in people who also want that same change.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad to hear, I know you're texting your mom last night, like, she was in the rallies in the 70s. She was in at Rodney King March in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, that's
and here
50
we
years
are,
ago. That's 30 years ago.
A whole generation later.
Doing the same damn thing.
Doing the same things.
And it's just... And a lot of the people at the protests aren't helping. And for the most part, it's not the minorities or the people of color. It's the cops.
There's so many instances where people are peacefully protesting, and then out of nowhere, cops start, like, shoving them, and tear gassing them, shooting rubber bullets at them. And it's like, come on. They were peacefully practicing their rights.
Yeah. Like, I've seen videos...
In the Constitution, where how it was designed.
Yeah.
And that's not enough. It's not okay. But protesting will never be okay because it goes against the ideals that were designed.
But if you're white, you can take an AR to City Hall and just go inside.
Yeah.
But it's like I saw...
It's their God-given right.
Yeah. I saw a video of people protesting, and there's a black guy in the front row yelling at the cops. Not yelling, but, like, you know, saying his piece on protesting. Mm-hmm. And after a minute or two, they just arrest him and take him away. Like, just because he had a voice and he was projecting how he felt, you know? He's afraid to wake up and leave the house every day. And that's like...
That means
no one should feel like that. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who you are, what race, what gender, what religion, what sexual orientation, like...
No one should have to feel that way. At the end of the day, we're all people.
Yeah,
like,
we're
why
all
is
the
that
same.
so hard to understand?
Like, and then you see videos of people protesting. I saw a video, and there's these two white girls tagging a Starbucks with Black Lives Matter and stuff, and these girls start yelling at them. It's like, no one asked you to do that, and when you go home and leave, no one's going to blame it on you. They're going to blame it on the other people just so their agenda gets passed. Like, look at, they're vandalizing all this stuff. Like, no, it's people thinking they're helping, but they're missing the mark 1,000%.
Or they're opportunistic, just taking advantage of the poor situation.
Yeah.
To make everybody else look bad. And that takes away from the motive and the point, you know?
Yeah.
But,
and it sucks just not knowing what to do. Like, yeah, I can sign petitions. Yeah, I can donate money. I can do this and that, but, like, that's not enough. Like,
what can we do that's more?
Yeah, voting is more, but it's like, are we okay with slow change? Because we've been slow changing for so long. It's like, it's like we got to get there. We got to get something changed. Mm-hmm. Like, we either have to redo government or redo police force.
Take a lot. And I know that we're in it for the long haul. That's something we can't change. This is not going to change overnight because the ones in power now are not it.
Like, something drastic has to change. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of our country can't be living like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The backbone of America can't be living like this. Mm-hmm. Of the new America, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, it just... It's inhumane. It's illegal most of the time, you know what I mean? And
it's illegal. Well, it's illegal until the person on the other end is deemed unworthy.
And that's the thing. No one should be unworthy.
This system was supposed to be designed to protect all of us.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not the case because blacks and minorities get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do when the system that was designed to protect you wants nothing to do with you?
Yeah.
It's hard. But we've rambled enough.
Yeah, I rambled. I told you I was going to let you lead it, and I just rambled.
You have a lot of opinions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, like, I don't know what I'm trying to do. Something's just got to change, and it sucks. What do you think we can do other than voting for low level?
And be strong in your beliefs. Like, don't just...
Unless your beliefs are wrong.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you are with us, be with us and say it with your chest. Don't just pretend to be with us on social media. And then when it comes to having conversations with your family, you bow out.
Yeah.
You need to be with us,
all
or
the
we
time.
don't need you.
Yeah. Not just sometimes, all the time. when there's no minority around, you still need to be with them.
Yeah.
In a group of white people, you need to be with them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and be open-minded. Like, if someone, a minority of any minority, Asian, Latino, Black, like, be open. Like, don't think you're right just because you've thought something for the last 20, 30, 40 years.
It doesn't make you right.
No. Be open to hearing the other side of the story. Mm-hmm. The only side of the story I knew was what TV portrayed until I was 26. We started dating?
Yeah.
Until I was 26, the only thing I knew was what TV and music portrayed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
we'll put links to places that we've donated to and places that we think have helpful information. Yeah. We'll drop them down below. You guys can give them a read. Donate where you can. And stay safe.
Yeah, be smart. Mm-hmm. Be smart, stay safe. And we just got to change something.
Yeah, it has to. Not just for ourselves, but for the generations to come. I don't want to have to go balls to the walls on police because my son was being choked out.
Yeah. For
a counterfeit $20 bill. No one deserves to lose their life that way.
No matter what you did. I mean, there's videos of a white kid that murdered 2 people, and he's leaned up against a cop car getting fed water by the cops. And why wasn't he choked out? Like, it's just so dumb. Like, it's embarrassing. Like,
but yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this was not supposed to be light. We encourage other people, couples that look like us, to have conversations about race. Yeah. It's vital. If for yourselves, for your children, for generations to come, like, it's important to have these open conversations, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not.
And I'm not sitting here saying, like, I know everything. Like, I'm still learning. Every day you give me new information and a new perspective on how to look at these things. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not the best at, I don't know. I feel like I look at your side pretty well. Like, I try to be open, but it's like I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, to change 26 years of thinking and propaganda going into your head, like, it's not hard. Even though I agree with almost everything you're saying and everything that's going on, it's gonna take a while to change. Mm-hmm. But slow progress is progress.
Yeah. So talk about race.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way it'll be normalized.
I'm sorry.
I accept your apology.
I'll do better and continue to do better.
For future generations to come.
Yeah, for our future kids, nieces, nephews, people I don't even know. It's sad to see this stuff every day in the news. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it. So yeah, power to the people. All right, see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.